Question one is inequality word problem. The first thing we need to highlight is our inequality keywords, which means we need to highlight at most, at least, or budget, no more than, limit those words. The first word we find is budget. So from our anchor chart, we can see budget is less than and equal to, and the total cost is 120. It gives us 120, so it's less than and equal to $120. Now the second inequality keyword is at least. From the anchor chart, we can see it's greater than and equal to, and it's 30 items. That means 30 is the quantity, greater than and equal to 30. The third inequality symbol, the inequality keywords is at most, which is less than and equal to. Now we know how many inequality keywords equal to the number of inequalities for each equation, for each question. So for this question, I have three keywords. That means I have three inequality for this question. The first one I have is the cost. The total cost is less than and equal to 120. And how do I add up all the cost? So I use the cost per items. We add them up. We add up the cost per variable. So $3 per pizza, which is the variable of A, plus $2 per soda, variable B. So for our first equation, it'll just be 3A plus 2B less than or equal to 120. Now the second equation is quantity. Quantity is very easy. We just add up both variables and it's greater than or equal to 30, our quantity. The third one is the relation equation. So we have at most 8 more than, 8 more something than. From the anchor chart, we can see more than is plus. More than means addition or plus. So the middle part, the middle of more and then is going to go to the left part. Left part will be pizza, which is A. And the inequality sign we use less than and equal to. A less than and equal to 8 more than, which is plus, and what's left over, soda, which is B. So that's how my equations check which answer choices is the same as my equation or my inequalities and pick the correct answer. Now question 2. The measure in triangle XYZ. So from the notes, we know triangle XYZ. We can always add up the interior angle and equal to 180. That's our first equation. Now the other two equations are going to be relations. And I already write down those equation keywords. Is means equal, times means multiply. So we just write it the way we read it. Y equal 4 times X. Let's write it down. So Y equal 4 times X. That's our second equation. The third equation is here. C is 15 degrees more than X. So we write it the way we read it. C is means equal 15. More than is addition. 15 plus X. Okay, now pick the correct answer. Question 3. What is the value of z in the following system of equation? This question we need to use calculator to solve system of equations. So step 1 is menu 3, 2. And then we change the number of equations from 2 to 3. Then press enter. Now we type in the 3 equations in the calculator. Equation 1, equation 2, equation 3. Okay, so the answer I get from the calculator is negative 84, negative 92, 78. And they're always in the order of X, Y, Z. For this question, I'm looking for Z, so pick the correct answer. Oh, when you type into calculator, you always need to know the difference of negative sign and subtraction. They have difference. Type if you type subtraction as negative, it'll give you um it'll give you multiply a negative number, so it will be different. You type it the way you read it. If you read it as negative 4x, press negative. Question 4. We're still doing the same thing as question 3, and they will just ask you the answer for the system of equation. We're still doing menu 3, 2. Change the number of equation from 2 to 3 and type equations 1, 2, 3 into the calculator and get the correct answer. The correct answer is B, but I want you guys to try it on your calculator. Question 5. This one is the total cost for each family or for each equation. So we have 3 equations. For those type of question, I want you guys to highlight each family using a different color. So for family 1, which is Smith family, I highlight to use a blue color. 1875 is my total cost for Smith family, and Smith family bought 2 popcorns, 3 soda, and 2 candies. So I just write down the way I read it. So it'll be 2 times popcorn plus 3 soda plus 2 times candies equal to the total cost 18.75. Okay, for D family is the total cost is 22, so it'll be 3 popcorns, 3 times P, 2 sodas plus 2 times S plus 3 times candies equal to 22.5. Okay, Patel family total cost 15. And it's 1 popcorn, so 1 times P plus 2 times S plus 2 times candy equal to 15. And just find this answer in the answer choices to see which one matches. Now question 6. A system of inequality and a graph are shown below. So it asks you to graph the inequality on your calculator first and tell me which section has all the solutions to the system. For the section that has all the solution, that's our overlapped shading area or the darkest area. For overlapped shading area, it's the area that all the solutions in that section works for both equation 1 and for both inequality 1 and inequality 2. So how do we use calculator? First thing is graph, and we delete, and we press delete 6, and we type inequality 1. After we press enter, we have our inequality 1. Now the second step is tap and type inequality 2. Then enter. At this time, you can see the shaded area should be this area. And that's where you can find all your answers. All your solutions are at the overlapped shading area. Okay, question 7. Which value of y will make the system of equations true, below true? So we're still solving system of equations using calculator. Again, menu 3-2, change number of equations from 2 to 3 and type your 3 equations into the calculator. And this time, I got 15, -78, -33. I'm looking for the y, and I know it's in the order of x, y, z. Okay, pick the correct answer. Question 8. A stadium has 1,500 concert ticket for sale. So it doesn't say the inequality keywords, but we know if it only has 1,500 seats, the at most, the most seats we can sell is 1,500. So for this one, I can say my first keywords is at most, which is less than and equal to according to our according to our anchor chart. And I know the 1,500 seats or tickets are the quantity. It's not money, it's quantity. Now let's look at the second inequality keyword, which is at most, and we know it's less than and equal to. 600 VIP tickets can be sold. Okay, now first let's look at our variables. My variables are V for VIP, G for general. The first equation I have is quantity. So that means quantities, I always just add up my variables to be the quantity. For this one, it'll be less than or equal to 1,500. That's my quantity. Okay, I got my first inequality. The second one is at most 600 are VIP. So it'll just be VIP less than and equal to 600. That's it. And we picked the correct answer. So the most of VIP tickets can be sold is 600. It will just be V less than or equal to 600. Okay, question 9. What is the value of x for this system of equations? So calculator again, menu 3-2, change number from 2 to 3, then type your 3 equations in. And this time, you need to write your answer for x. So it's always in the order of x, y, z. So write your answer for the first, write your first number here. That's question 9. Now question 10. Question 10 is asking you to graph the solution. So we need to use calculator. And before we type it into calculator, we need to figure out using the table I provided, less than and equal to, greater than and equal to. What type of lines do I have? I have solid lines for both of them because I have equal to according to the table. Okay, so line type, I pick solid and solid for both. Now let's go to calculator. Let's go to graph and delete 6 and we type in inequality 1, enter to get our first inequality. Then second step, type in inequality 2, enter to get our second inequality. At this time, you can see which part is the overlapped shading area and record that part. Now let's go to step 3, menu 5.3, change the trace step from automatic to 1. Then menu 5.2, step 4, you need to find 2 points from each equations, from each inequalities. So 2 points from each inequality. Okay, any points works as long as they are whole numbers. As long as they are whole numbers, not integer. So just pick any 2 points. The 2 points I picked are for inequality 1 is 0, 3, 4, 4. Inequality 2 I picked is -5, 1, and 0, 6. Let's plot these 2 points for each equation. 0, 3 is here. 4, 4 is here. And then we connect the 2 points using a solid line. Okay, that's my first inequality. The second one is -5, 1. -5, 1 is here. And 0, 6. 0, 6 is here. Now I type my inequality. Now I connect these 2 points using a solid line again, solid line. Okay, now shade the part that has overlapped shading area. For this question, it will be the upper left part, this part. And this is the solution. We're going to graph both lines and shade that area. Question 11. Which ordered pair is in the solution set of the following system of inequality? So we need to use calculator to graph these 2 inequalities, and then pick the point that is pick the point in overlapped shading area. Okay, for this question, the graph should be look like this. It's dotted line for equation 1, dotted line. It's my inequality 1, and inequality 2 is solid line, and it should look like a solid line. Should look like this. Okay, so for this one, let's see which points works. -4, -1, it's -4, -1 is somewhere here. It doesn't work. 2, -3, 2, -3 is somewhere here. Oh, let's shade the part first. Let's shade the part first. So on the calculator, it shows me this part is the shading area. Okay, now I know 2, 3, 2, -3 works. Let's check other other points. One, one should be somewhere here. It's not in the shading area. Negative 2, 2. Negative 2, 2 is somewhere here. No, not in the shading area. Only 2, negative 3 is in the shading area. Okay, question 12. A stadium has 520 seats. I have 520 seats as the quantity, and I have my variables f equal to 4, m is this, and b is balcony. So quantity equals to equals you add up all the variables. So quantity is always the easiest one. So f plus m plus b equal to 520, which is the quantity. That could be your equation 1. Now let's go to equation 2. And I see there's a total cost. Total cost for 12,100. So total cost is always the cost for each variable, and you add them up. You add up the cost for each variable. So it's $30 per floor ticket. So 30 times F plus 25 times M plus 20 times B. And it's equal to the total cost 12100. That's my equation 2. Now let's go to equation 3, which is the relation equation. Relation equation, that's using the keywords anchor chart to write down those keywords. The first one is equals, which means it's an equal sign. Total. On the anchor chart, you can see total is plus or addition. Total number of M and B. I know total is plus, so it's just M plus B. And we write it the way we read it. It's 4, which is 4 equal total of M and B, which is M plus B. Now I have three equations. Let's find it in our answer choices. Pick one from the answer choices. And that's it for the Unit 3 test review. Good luck on your test.